Welcome to the first email blast ever that's going down. Today we will teach you guys about knock knees. If you guys don't know what knock knees is, let's go quickly into it. So you're here like this. Knock knees is when your knees are going in and they knock into each other like that. So they call it valgus. So the idea is your femur is going in. They call it adducting, and then your tibia is abducted like that. Make sense? And this is definitely not sexy, right? So, how do you restore your sexiness? This is how you do it right here. So number one thing is, let's look at it from a soft tissue perspective. Number one thing is, your pelvis here, your groin muscles here, high adductors, they get really tight. So they're gonna pull you in. The other thing on the outside is actually these tissues here on the outside of your quad, your IT band, so on and so forth, they're gonna push your knee in. So those are the two things you want to release. So I'm going to show you guys a quick release right now. So here like this, I actually separated low adductor, high adductor. So I actually only want to work the high adductor in this case, right? So you're here like this, put this down, position yourself, and then start rolling. The key is never stare at people while you're doing this at the gym, because it's creepy. Imagine someone's like that. That's just no go. No go. If you're like the live stream, no go. So you're like this, you want to hold 30 seconds, let's say. Do 30 seconds to a minute, right? And then here, you're going to alternate to the other one. Again, on the outside of the quad, you're like this, right? And you're really trying to find that area that's kind of like jammed up, and you're just opening it up. Cool. And that's how you foam roll to get rid of knock knees. Let's talk about things that don't work, okay? So now let's go into strengthening, okay? So a lot of people, what they do is they'll tell you to push out with your knees. And here's why I disagree, okay? So you're here like this. Let's say, I've seen this online on YouTube. People are saying, hey, you want to strengthen the outside of your knee like this, right? Why don't you just do a lunge and then force your knee out? The problem is when you're doing that, you're actually pushing, you're kind of teaching yourself to kind of push out on the outside of your foot as well. And that's actually really bad to do, right? You don't want to be coming down like this and then pushing out like this and then pushing out on the outside of your foot. That's not how you want to activate the glute med. That's not going to teach your nervous system how to activate the glute med properly. What you want to do is you need to figure out, okay, so how do I put my body in a position that forces my glute med to turn on and has no other option? But it's not like when you're walking, you're here like this, and you're like, oh, I need to like push my knee out and start walking on the outside of my feet. That makes no sense. So what you want to do is you're here. One exercise that we do instead is you're here like this. I always talk about this one is how do you make your glute activate in the frontal plane? So you're here, you're coming down like this, and you see here, when I'm in this position like this, there's no way I can put my knee inwards. My body position is forcing my glute med to turn on like this, right? So I'm coming down like this, and then holding it, and coming up like this. Kind of like, and you can wrap this out, 3 sets of 10, 5 to 10, let's say, right? And now you're really strengthening your glute med in the way that's actually gonna happen when you're walking, right? So you're here like this, same thing, let's show it again for live stream, right? Any questions in the live stream? People say anything crazy? This would be the other leg. No? Alright. Like that. Right? And then here, just to show you, here like this. You see how it's impossible for me to bring my knee inwards? Because if I do, then I'm going to start twisting and turning. Right? So when you're in this position, it's actually your body's locked, and this has to turn on. And as you're coming out of it, it contracts, and then you go. Okay? Sorry, just ate lunch. I'm speaking and moving so much. Alright, and last things to help you guys understand too, people will also show this exercise, right, which I think is crazy, right, where they're here like this, they're here like this or whatever, they'll put their bands around their leg and then they'll come down like this and open up. Again, same thing, you see how like I have a tendency now to go on the outside of my feet? When I'm doing this, this is not reinforcing the pattern you want. Right? Let's think about it logically. You're here, gate. Okay? We're only looking at the femur. Don't think too much about anything else. This is your femur, your leg bone. Okay? You're like this, take a step. As it hits the ground, your femur starts going inwards. You see what I mean? This is the midline, it's starting going inwards. You're here like this. As you're crossing over here, and as you're coming this way, it starts going outwards. What do you want? You want to reinforce this, right? So again, take a step. This femur is going inwards, adducting in the frontal plane. You're crossing over. It starts to abduct, open here. And at the end, you see how my foot is at max supination? Ta-da! Right? And I'm going to fall because no one ever really holds this position. But the idea is, you can also see if you don't get to have max supination, you'll never be able to completely abduct your femur. If you're here like this, imagine if I'm here like this and I don't completely supinate my foot. Right here, and you see how this is still going in a little bit less, going out less, right? And then I take a step again, right? My femur will always stay. It's really subtle stuff, but if I basically don't pop up to max supination, I can't abduct to the max. My femur will never be able to abduct to the maximum of its ability. Make sense? So, we'll get into the foot, how the foot affects the knock knees in the future post, because that's like a whole other video. But to go back to what's practical is, you would put yourself in this position, right? And you would basically just come down, right? And as you're coming down, you're gonna feel like your knee wants to go in like this. But you don't let it. You come down like this and then you feel everything stretch in this whole area, right here, where all the magic happens. Cool? So, try those at home. Once again, quick recap. You're here, foam roll, right here, right here. You're doing that 30 seconds to a minute, I'd say 3 times. Then you go into the lunge in the frontal plane, you're here like this, open, right? You want to do, I'd say 5 reps at first, and as you get better, you want to do 3 sets of 10 eventually. And then the last one is you're here like this is more like a stretch. You're here like that, coming down, boom, and then you want to feel it all in this area. Cool? Work on this and go from here to here to here to here. And we out.